Welcome to this demonstration video sponsored by the California Department of Education. By the end of this tutorial, you will be able to use the Individual Student Assessment Accessibility Profile tool, also known as the ISAAP tool, for both the CAASPP and ELPAC. The online ISAAP tool helps create an individual student profile for each student by matching the appropriate accessibility resources to each student's need in order to ensure a fair and valid testing experience. Check in with your LEA to determine the procedures for identifying student accessibility resources. Individualized Education Program or IEP teams, Section 504 teams, and classroom teachers may find this tool useful to identify resources for English language learners and other students who can benefit from additional support. Different roles may also be designated to identify these resources, and the ISAAP tool may provide assistance to staff tasked with identifying these various resources for students. The goal is to help students have an optimal testing experience. To access the ISAAP tool, you'll first need to go to either the CAASPP website or the ELPAC website. From the CAASPP or ELPAC website's home screen, select the Resources tab located on the top toolbar. Next, select Accessibility Resources from the drop-down menu. From the Accessibility Resources webpage, scroll down to the Test Administration Manuals and Administrative Tools header and select the Individual Student Assessment Accessibility Profile ISAAP tool link. This will route you to the online ISAAP tool. You can also access this tool by navigating to https://isaap.ets.org in your web browser. From the ISAAP tool homepage, select a program, either the CAASPP or the ELPAC, from the program drop-down list. You can only work on one program at a time and cannot edit for the CAASPP and the ELPAC simultaneously. Select the Get Started button. There are a few different methods for adding students into the ISAAP tool. Option 1. Users can select the empty ISAAP for tool file link to download an empty Excel file. Users can add an initial set of students to the file and import this file into the tool. Option 2, users can export an ISAAP for tool file and import it into the ISAAP tool. We will show you how to export and import files later in this video. Lastly, users can manually add students without importing an existing file. Note that the ISAAP tool does not store student data or accessibility resources from one session to another. This demonstration video will show you how to save the data before exiting the application when a session is complete. We will first demonstrate how to use the ISAAP tool by adding students manually. Select the Add Manually link. This will display the Student Detail webpage. Complete the Student Information section. Note that the Statewide Student Identifier, or SSID, is required and must be 10 numeric digits. The grade can be selected from the Grade drop-down list. The Status section is used to capture information and comments about who is making the student updates. The Complete checkbox should be selected once the ISAAP for the student is completed. The Accessibility Resources section allows users to select designated supports and accommodations for a student. The information displayed in this section of the screen depends on the program chosen on the ISAAP tool homepage. Select filters for the tests or tests for which a student needs designated supports. For CAASPP, the values for Filter by Content Area are the ELA, Math, Science, and Spanish checkboxes. For ELPAC, the values for Filter by Assessment are Initial, Summative, Initial Alternate, or Summative Alternate. Before any accessibility resources are displayed, the user must select one or more methods to indicate how a student's accessibility resource needs for testing were determined. Selecting the Individualized Education Program or the 504 Plan checkbox will allow you to view accommodations. If the student has qualified for special educational services, check the Individualized Education Program box. If the student has a Section 504 plan, check the 504 Plan box. If the student needs educator-recommended accessibility resources, check the Educator's Recommendation box. Next, we will select the specific student needs to view their associated accessibility resources. In this example, we will use the case study of a fictitious student David Sim. David is in grade 8 and has an IEP. He has a visual impairment that requires him to sit at the front of the class. He also has dyslexia. He uses a magnification or monocular device. David also uses speech-to-text to help him process information during instruction. Based on this student's needs, we will match him with the appropriate accessibility resources to help him successfully test. Since David has an IEP, we will select the Individualized Education Program checkbox in the Method of Determination for Student Needs section. Next, we will select the Support for Vision Impairments, Blindness checkbox in the Student Needs section. As the Student Needs section boxes are checked, a list of associated designated supports will appear. Since David has an IEP, a list of accommodation also appears. Each accessibility resource has a contextual help icon. Hover over the icon to view a description of the resource. They all have labels as well. Let's take the label for color contrast as an example. The first set of parentheses identifies whether the resource is embedded or non-embedded. Color contrast is embedded, which means that it is provided by the test delivery system. The second set of parentheses identifies the delivery mode, either computer or paper, and the test abbreviations that the designated support could be used in. This label tells us that the color contrast can be used on the various computer-based CAASPP tests. We will select the designated support for David, magnification, which is a non-embedded support for David. Some resources are embedded into the technology platform for computer-administered tests. Others are considered non-embedded since they are provided by the LEA. Notice the 2 asterisks at the beginning of the label letting us know that this support will likely require a separate setting or extra time. Moving on to the accommodations for this student, I will select the speech-to-text non-embedded option since it was identified that David uses this feature to process information. Please note that once a value for an accessibility resource is chosen, the only way to remove it is to either change the value for the accessibility resource to not selected or deselect the checked box in the Method of Determination for Student Needs section. We have completed the ISAAP for David. Navigate back to the Status section and select the Complete checkbox. Then select the Save and View Student Lists button. The student will now appear on the list on the Student List webpage. Each row on the Student List webpage has an Actions column that contains 2 icons. If you need to make changes to David's ISAAP, select the Edit Student Pencil icon, and if you need to remove his ISAAP, select the Delete Trash Can icon. Note that the completion status of Y indicates that the entry of the student's accessibility resources has been completed and is ready to be uploaded to TOMS. Only students marked with the completion status of Y will be saved in the TOMS file. When all students and accessibility resources have been added and edited, select the Ready to Save ISAAP Files button. If you are ready to import accessibility resources for students into TOMS, select the Save as ISAAP for TOMS File button. This saves all the entered data in the file format that can be uploaded into TOMS. If you would like to save this file for a future session, select the Save as ISAAP for Tool File button. This allows you to download a file that can be used in the ISAAP tool later to make future additions and edits. If you need to add multiple students to edit their ISAAP, you can either download and edit an empty ISAAP for Tool file or use an existing one. We will use the file we downloaded from our previous session with David. We will add additional students to this template. Although the SSID field is required, it may be helpful to include students' first and last names for ease of identification. To import an ISAAP for Tool file, select the Select File button. Navigate to the location on the device where the file is located. Select and open the appropriate previously saved XLSX file. Select the Import button. The Student List webpage will populate with student information from the imported file, and the number of students imported will be displayed. If you need to import additional student data files, select the Import More button. If you need to add students one by one, select the Add Student button. Edit and update each student's ISAAP. Once completed, select the Ready to Save ISAAP Files button. Since we have marked all student profiles complete, select the Save as ISAAP for TOMS File button to upload the test settings into TOMS. This file will be saved to the default download location with a file name that includes the program name, ISAAP for TOMS, administration year, date, and time. You can save this file for your records. If you wish to upload this file into TOMS, please refer to the ISAAP Tool User Guide and the TOMS User Guide. You have successfully learned how to use the ISAAP tool and create multiple student profiles. Thank you for watching this Using the ISAAP Tool demonstration video. For more information, please visit CAASPP.org and ELPAC.org.